Are China and the United States on a collision course for World War III? That is the big question, and according to a recent report from Taiwan, we are now hearing that the United States could have just increased tensions with China. I'm going to address what's going on right now, why this is a massive issue, and some say this is potentially the biggest escalation in years. So we're going to see what's going on right now, how this is going to impact you, and the timeline of when they expect all this stuff is going to go down. So make sure you don't miss any part of this video. Also, all I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead and hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So one of the things that the entire world has been looking into is what is the United States doing, what is China doing, and what is Russia doing? Well, we know what Russia is doing because they've already invaded Ukraine and they've been taking this fight to them for several years. However, what is China doing? Well, according to reports, China is building its military on a scale not seen since World War II and is on track to be able to invade Taiwan by 2027, according to a U.S. admiral. That is huge. That is very big news. But why are they waiting? What are they doing? Well, according to reports, we know China is ready to invade. They have said this time and time again that they will reunify mainland China with Taiwan eventually. The reports were they were going to do this between 2025 and 2028. It looks like 2027 will be that date. But I want to read to you what this U.S. Admiral is saying. So it's U.S. Admiral John Aquilino. He said China's military is building up at a rate not seen since World War II. He says that puts it on a path to meeting its goal of being ready to invade Taiwan by 2027. Says Aquilino, the outgoing head of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command urged Washington to accelerate military development. Now, what's interesting about this is we started to hear more and more updates as to what China was doing. But what is the United States doing? Well, this is where things get very concerning because Taiwan just the other day confirmed that U.S. troops are on the frontline island near China. And according to this report, they're actually just 4 miles away from China. It says the U.S. troops are on an island just 4 miles from China, according to a Taiwan report. Now, this is where things are starting to escalate. This is why some say this could be World War III, because the United States under President Biden has stated that if China were to try to invade Taiwan, the United States would step in. And the United States has a military presence over in the area. But now, according to Taiwan officials, they're saying we have troops on the ground on a Taiwan island. I want to read this to you. Look at this. It says the United States has positioned troops on a tiny island chain less than 4 miles from the Chinese coast, Taiwan has admitted. In the apparent escalation of the American military presence in Taiwan, a Taiwanese defense minister told reporters the country was running an exchange with the U.S. to figure out how to improve its military. One thing that China doesn't want is Taiwan to increase its military, become better, become stronger, become more efficient, more powerful. China doesn't want that. We've seen what Russia is doing with Ukraine. Russia was expected to come in and wipe out everybody and take over Ukraine. Guess what? They haven't done it. They have not done so because Ukraine has actually stood their ground. Taiwan's expected to do the same thing. This article continues to read, although the U.S. has announced it was training Taiwanese forces on the country's main island, Formosa, the Pentagon has never acknowledged the presence of American troops on the Kinmen Islands, which lie 3.7 miles from the Chinese coastal city of Xiamen. Now, says in response to reports that U.S. Special Forces were operating on the islands, the Taiwanese minister admitted on Tuesday that his country's military was learning from American forces. Says this exchange is for mutual observation to identify the problems we have, figure out how to improve, and to recognize their strengths so we can learn from them. Now, according to a report, the people that are in Taiwan, they're actually Green Berets. So it says U.S. Army Green Berets from the 1st Special Forces Group are now permanently stationed at a pair of bases of the 101st Amphibious Reconnaissance Battalion, a Taiwanese Army Special Operations Force, according to Taiwan's United Daily News. Now, what you need to keep in mind, though, and this is where things get very interesting, is what is the United States going to do? Are we going to continue to send troops to Taiwan? Are we going to have certain senators, the president himself, visit Taiwan? If you remember when Nancy Pelosi, when she visited, it was a major, major issue. And China and the United States didn't speak for like 18 months. It was a serious problem because China does not want the United States getting involved with Taiwan. They just don't. But here's the thing. The United States is not going to back down. Taiwan does not want to reunify with China. And China is going to force them to, eventually. But this is why some say that we are very close to World War III with China. It would be China and the United States, plus both of our allies, would be jumping into this. But here's what you need to keep in mind. Did Taiwan just escalate the situation because of coming forward and saying that they are learning from U.S. troops in Taiwan? According to some experts, they say yes, that this was probably the worst thing that they could have done because this is just going to force China to put more effort and more emphasis on their military and ensure that their military is growing and becoming stronger every single day. But, like it says here, okay, China is expected, and they're on track, to be ready to invade Taiwan by 2027. That's the expectation. So, all I can tell you right now is be ready. If China decides to invade Taiwan, a few things are going to happen. First off, semiconductors are going to be hit. We are going to see a massive, we're going to see a supply chain crisis here in the United States when it comes to semiconductors. Keep in mind, Taiwan is the leading country when it comes to creating semiconductors. Okay? And right now that we are seeing artificial intelligence really take off all around the world, this could be a massive setback. The second thing they need to keep in mind is if China and Taiwan have any increased tensions, it brings the United States in. And right now the United States is involved with Ukraine. They're involved with the Red Sea because of the conflict over in the Middle East between Israel and Gaza, or Israel and Hamas. But the Yemen Houthis, Hezbollah, all creating issues with the United States. And then we have a U.S. southern border problem. And so you factor all those things in along with conflict between China and Taiwan, the United States is going to be spread very thin. And that could be a huge problem as well. So, all I'm here to tell you is be ready. This is something that experts say Taiwan just made a mistake, and by revealing that the United States has troops in Taiwan, teaching them how to become a better military, it's probably not what China wanted to hear. So, we'll see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you is just be ready. Be ready because who knows what's going to happen. But that's what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.